It is time for another season of Husker Chat. We are joined by Sean Callahan, the publisher of Husker Online. Sean, thanks a lot. Here we go, a much anticipated season for the Huskers. As you look at what's taking place in fall camp, what do you think is the biggest storyline?
Well, I just think the year two storyline in general, when you compare what Scott Frost did at Central Florida to what's going to happen here this year, the way it's trending, I just think that's going to be a popular topic the entire season. But, you know, the growth of Adrian Martinez, I don't know if there's ever been a true sophomore in the program at this point already to be a captain, to be number 4 on the Heisman Trophy board already, tells you how special these next 2 to 3 years could be for Adrian Martinez and kind of what he means to this football program.
I guess the key is if he can stay healthy, and if he is healthy and he shows up, Nebraska has to feel, it doesn't matter who they play, with him at quarterback, they've got a shot.
Yeah, you look right now in the entire Big Ten West particularly, he is really, to me, the only elite quarterback. Now, there's some guys that are solid quarterbacks, like Nathan Stanley at Iowa. I think Hunter Johnson, the former 5-star at Northwestern, he could be a pretty good quarterback at Northwestern. But today, right now, Martinez is far and away the top signal caller in the Big Ten West. And as you know, with the game of football, we see it every Sunday in the NFL. An elite quarterback makes the difference. And Nebraska, I think, feels like they have that right now. And I think with the schedule they have and everything else, this is a year where a lot could align for Nebraska.
Coach Frost, he released his depth chart. That's been out. People have been talking about that. Anything in particular really jump out to you on how that all lined up?
Well, it wasn't a surprise Monday, but on Friday, just how quickly things moved up for Cameron Jurgens. I don't know if anybody saw that coming, and I'll be honest, I'm guessing the players on the team, just judging on that whole depth chart deal where Cameron Jurgens overtook Will Farniak in about a week's time. I think that caught a lot of people by surprise, but I think they feel like he's that good of an overall athlete that he makes the difference on the offensive line. The lack of overall seniors on offense, that jumped out to me. Only 1 senior starter total, only 4 total seniors listed on the entire offensive depth chart. You look on the defensive side of the ball, not a lot of big surprises, as far as how things go. Khalil Davis, this is kind of a shocker. This will be the first time in his career he's ever started at Nebraska. So Carlos and Khalil Davis will make their first career starts going into their 5th year together at Nebraska. And it's kind of a surprise because Khalil Davis was the defensive lineman of the year for Nebraska, according to the team vote, but has never started a game until now.
Today on Husker Chat, we're talking with Sean Callahan as Nebraska kicks off the season on Saturday against South Alabama. Sean, you mentioned the black shirts. It seems like, and all indications are pointing toward that Darian Daniels has already come in and been a huge factor with this team.
Yeah, and you could see it a little bit in the spring, just the personality he's brought and the swagger he's brought to that room, but it's just grown from there. And the one spring practice I did watch, that's what I noticed right away with Daniels, though, just the way he brings that personality on the field. And the Davis brothers and Ben Stille, they're not real outgoing personalities. And I think just having Darian in there with Carlos and Khalil and Ben Stille and the others, it's kind of ramped up the room a little bit in a good way and just brought more bonding and personality and leadership the way Darian Daniels has kind of raised the bar.
What do you make of all of the expectations for this team? I can't remember a time in which a team won 4 games and then the next year there's so many expectations. What's your thoughts on how much better Nebraska can be?
It's been kind of interesting to follow because I feel like in June and July, Nebraska was kind of the sexy horse to bet on. Everybody was on Nebraska. Then I felt like a little bit for a while, people are like, they're kind of tired of Nebraska. And they're like, you know what, we're not picking them now to win the West. But the Big Ten Network then all of a sudden came back, and Howard Griffin said it. He goes, I was trying to give myself every reason not to pick Nebraska because I want to go against what the writers said. And he goes, I can't do it. They're the pick to win the West. And I think the biggest thing to me is the schedule. That is why I think today they have the best Vegas odds, not my opinion or other, that's the Las Vegas Sportbook odds to win the West because of the schedule that sets up for them, along with obviously Adrian Martinez and what they do. So yeah, this is got the potential, and I say potential because we've all been down that road before, but it is the first time, Jayson, Nebraska's been picked to win a division since 2011. Just think about that for a minute.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy they haven't been in a preseason poll since 2014, but that's kind of what the state of Husker football has been. What do you think happens this Saturday against South Alabama? What kind of team comes in here from the Sun Belt?
You know, they're a team that's coming off a 3-win season, but they do have some skill players. The comparison being thrown out there is Troy. They're by no means as good as that Troy team was that won over 10 games last year. But they will have some athletes in space. I know South Alabama was hoping for a hotter day that maybe Nebraska would wear down in some heat. But as we know, it's going to be a cooler Saturday to open the year. Maybe the coolest season opener on record that I can remember as far as temperatures in the 60s or even low 70s at the high. So that sets up well. But I think for Nebraska, their depth and their physical size at the line of scrimmage is going to be way too much for South Alabama to handle.
Well, let's just hope this year the game happens.
Hey, it's at 11, so you got all day. I mean, essentially we got about 12 to 14 hours to get the game in.
All right, very good. Sean, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to talking to you throughout the year.
All right, Jayson, thanks.
And that was Sean Callahan of Husker Online with us today for HuskerChat.